Here's one way to make chicken thighs. So I like to go out to my garden and see what I have. Okay, got some sorrel, which looks like spinach but has kind of a lemony taste. So I'm just going to cut up and do a little chiffonade add to the recipe. You could also add basil. You could add oregano. You know, that's a great thing about this recipe. There are things that you can do with it. Oof, like here's something I got to do. Get rid of that bone. It's very hard to find chicken thighs with skin on and bone gone. So first thing you want to do is cut that bone out. Then time for a little pounding. Now, ideally when you pound, you want to put some plastic on top just because it kind of diffuses the power and then you don't stick, but it's not that big of a deal. Then I've got this little seasoning herbal thing that I got at Italy. I'm mildly obsessed with it. But any bit of salt, pepper, again, dried herbs are fine. So I'm going to roll it up, and I've got my little cooking twine. Nothing fancy here. Again, we don't need to have fancy techniques to make some interesting food. So I've put the oil in the pan, fried up thighs in there, and now I'm going to brown that skin and all the flavor they get with it. I'm going to pop it in the oven just to keep it warm as I start on the sauce. Okay, some onions there. I think that flame should come down. That's just a tad too hot right there. Tomato, chunks of tomato, canned tomatoes. Listen, don't think you got to cook with fresh tomatoes. In fact, sometimes they're more ripe and better if you get them out of a can. Now the aforementioned chiffonade of sorrel is in there, and just gonna stir that all in. And then this kind of makes it less tart because most of the American red sauces we have, somebody's thrown in some brown sugar. But I think when you use like some lemon or some sorrel, you don't need to put it in. And then there's that. There it is. That's the little brodo vegetable granular thing I'm into. Okay, got some white wine, some cream. So we've got a tomato cream sauce. And then we're gonna get the thighs from the oven, and we can put the thighs back in that sauce. And the longer, of course, the thighs are in the sauce, and how about that great camera work, the better. They can sit there for a while. And I also like to think about meals that the next day will also be good, just in case it doesn't all get eaten tonight. Yeah, I'm just going to let it sit there while I go make some rice or something else to go with it. Slice it up. Looking good. It's one thing if I like, but what does my son think?
It's delicious. It's very moist.
My work is done.